So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I want to thank everybody who's here right now. Um, I'm pretty sure
Yes.
you know. I'm pretty sure you know who my guest is here on the Experience, the Bear Project. We have we haven't even gotten started with most of the topics, but we're gonna go ahead
No.
and do that. So, I have certain topics in which I want to touch on. Bear has topics that he wants to touch on as well, so we're gonna be going back and forth.
Yes.
Hydrate. We got you, Trap. I see you, man. Herbal says, I was a sheltered child and rebelled like crazy, but I turned out all right. See? I'm glad that things fizzled out for you, Herbal. That's what's up. But that was my point there.
Likewise.
You can't shelter people and expect them to just turn out perfect. All right, so we're gonna touch on the topic of childhood. Okay. So let's hear about Little Bear from the 80s.
Um,
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about family,
you know,
school,
uh,
friends.
so my date of birth is July 20th, 1988. Um, I had both my parents. They didn't always get along. Of course, I was too young to to see what was going on, but I knew there was like friction and beef between those two. And it got to a point where my dad felt like it would have been better for me to live with him. I didn't feel that way. I felt like my mom was I was literally on my mom's hip. Don't get me wrong. Love my dad.
Right.
Won't ever take that from him. But I was literally attached to my mom's hip. Um, we lived in DC. I could name every school I went to from Joe Barnard Elementary School to where else? Berkshire Elementary. I even went to private school. Um, then I moved out here to Maryland. And I went to Drew Freeman Middle School. That was more like in Prince George's County, Maryland. Um, and then I came out here to Baltimore and I went to high school. Went to Kenwood High School for my freshman and sophomore year, and then in my junior year, I went to a city school, and of course, graduated. But I had the unfortunate event of losing my father.
Mm.
Um, I lost him when I was 15. Um, November 20th, 2003, and the 19th of November 2003 it was very, very hard days to deal with. I remember being around, my mom. I remember being around my mom and my grandmother, and they were like, my mom and my dad's mom. They were like two peas in a pod. It was super cool, but it was always my dad and my uncle that would like go at it. And I feel like it got even worse once my grandmother passed away. She had diabetes really bad, and she had I think she might have gotten cut, like a cut on her leg,
Mm.
and she didn't address it, and she caught gangrene and had to get her leg amputated. And after she got her leg amputated, her health just started rapidly declining. It was getting worse. She passed, and I think that's when everything went left. Um, my uncle and I would literally be like this 10-year-old, 11-year-old with my hands out like this in between my father and my uncle about to go at blows with one another. And I would have like those profound moments like what would grandma think if she seen y'all? She's probably rolling over in her grave right now. This is not what she wanted.
Right.
I'm I'm young. What do I know about this? But I just felt like it was the right thing to say because I felt like that me saying that as a kid should have sparked something in them. All right, maybe we need to, as my elders used to tell me, straighten up and fly right. But that didn't happen. November the 19th, um, my dad had went out to a casino And he had called and he said, he was going to be coming home. So I put my uncle on the phone. He wanted to speak to my uncle, and those two got into it real bad. He hung up the phone, and my uncle literally told me and my friends, like, your father makes me so mad that one day I'm going to kill him. I just want to kill him.
Wow.
Instantly, that stuck with me. You know how people say certain things and you're just like, nah, you can't just speed that by me like I didn't just hear that. So I called my dad and I was like, Pop, wherever you are, stay there. Because if you come home, you're not coming back. That's it for you. He stayed home. He stayed wherever he was at. And the next morning, I brushed my teeth, everything got ready, and he took me to school. What I didn't know was 8 hours later, that would have been the last time I would have ever seen or spoke to him. I'd like that goodbye that I gave him when he dropped me off. That was the last goodbye I could give him. I was at basketball practice. 10th grade, I was playing basketball because my dad had, I'm talking about this dude was like Mick. We was like Mick and Rocky. This man had me chasing chickens, doing laps around, around the neighborhood. Like that's literally how he trained me, and it was to a point where it got so, it was so easy. Like going back and forth up and down a full court was as easy as breathing. Everybody else looking like their lungs are about to collapse, and I'm like, oh, y'all tired? No, this game's still going. What you mean? We got a whole nother quarter.
Right.
So, he whipped me into shape like really good. And to a point where I even went to like the 76ers basketball camp. And when I went there, that was when I first dunked my first like 10-foot court. Like I had worked on my legs that much that off the vertical, I could two-hand the basketball. And I was like, oh my God, I felt like a man on the moon. You know what I mean?
I bet.
Me and him he's taking me to running. There used to be an old basketball gym back in the days called Run and Shoot. And I was a young squirt playing with adults, was tearing them up. It was ridiculous. I'd have made people fall, everything. But it wasn't until I played this basketball tournament and I had the game-winning shot and I became the MVP and I had like 6 trophies. I literally seen my father do a complete backflip and land. I will never, ever forget that moment. Ever. When I seen that, I was flabbergasted. I didn't know what to do. Like I was so stuck. I was like, oh my God, my dad literally just did a whole backflip. I've never seen him do this.
Dad's a ninja, man. Yeah.
Yeah. So to do that and to share those moments with him, only to, November 20th, 2003, I'm on the basketball team and my coach is like, all right, guys, we got some good news. Brandon here is a 10th grader, but he's going to the varsity. He was a freshman or sophomore going to varsity. You're like, what? Oh man, I'm about to be bumping elbows with the sophomores and with the seniors and juniors. Oh, this is amazing. Yeah. It felt like a rite of passage almost.
Right.
So I seen my mother and my mom came in and she was like puffy eyed, like ugly crying. It was bad. I'm like, what in the world's going on? So I walked to my mother. I'm like, Mom, what's wrong? She was like, son, I can't tell you. I'm like, what do you mean you can't tell me? She was like, son, just stay right there. I'm like, okay, something clearly has to be wrong. She went to hug the coach and I'm like, what in the world is going on? Then my grandfather, her father, walks in. He's like, son, let's go for a walk around the track. And we walk around the track, and seems like um man, it seems like we was on Rainbow Road in Mario Kart. We was walking for what seemed like an eternity.
Mm-hmm.
We did like one last lap, and we got to a specific part in the track. And he was like, "Son, I have some very bad news to tell you." And I was like, "What happened?" And he was like, "Your father died today." And man, when I tell you and Chad, when I tell you guys, the world stopped, cars didn't move, wind didn't blow, like the clouds didn't move, nothing moved. It was literally frozen. I dropped to my knees. The crazy part was I didn't even start crying. I immediately, part of me immediately thought, but how? I just I told him not to go home the night before. What what happened? So we get in the car. My mom still like she still bawling. I'm just like I'm trying to my brain is trying to compute what happened. So we get home and I'm like, "Mom, how did he die?" He was murdered. Not only was he murdered, he was beaten to death before he got murdered. So I'm like, who did it? She paused, took a deep breath. She was like, your uncle did it. And when I tell you, um, there was a rage unlike any other that I felt at that point. And I'm going to say this, and hopefully to everyone, it makes sense. If it was a random person that did it, it still would have hurt because that was my father. You only get one. You only get one mother and one father. So I want to say this. If in any way, people, you can salvage the relationship between you and your parents, please do. Because you don't, when they're gone, it's going to hurt more than you know. Just throwing that out there. If it was a random person, it wouldn't have hurt as bad. It's still my father. I still only get one parent, still would have hurt. But the fact that it was my uncle, couldn't trust anybody, not even my own mother. I couldn't trust anyone. My family. You read about stuff like this in the Bible, Cain and Abel. I didn't think that was going to happen to me, not in real life.
Yeah.
No, no, I didn't think that was going to happen. And, all I could think about is, man, I wanted to get to my uncle so bad. So all I had on my heart for about, I want to say what, till 25, vengeance. That's it. That's all I had. I had vengeance and anger on my. I wanted to get him
For 10
somehow,
years.
some way. I wanted to do him in. I wanted to just get him out of here, get him off this planet, because not only did you murder and beat your own brother to death, you took someone's father. How dare you? Who are you? You not judge, jury, and executioner. What's wrong? And then you have a daughter who is my cousin. Did you think about her when you did it? No. If that was me and my dad would have did that to her father, I don't even know if I could communicate or look her dead in the eye and speak without breaking down. What do you say to your cousin, knowing your father killed hers or his? So, the crazy part was, if you went to the house And I went to the house because we had the funeral arrangements and everything. And bro, chat, when I tell you, the blood was still on the floor. The bullet holes were still in the door. The blood stains were still in the bathtub when he shot my father in the bathtub at first. He shot my father in the bathtub, hit him with a hammer, shot him a few more times with a handgun, and then shot him with a shotgun and dragged him down the stairs and tried to set the house on fire. That's what he did.
Oh, God.
I didn't find this out until later in life. I was reading the whole paper, and this man had the nerve to say my father was a demon, and the demon was trying to take my uncle. So he didn't even look at my father as his brother. He saw my father as a demon. He has schizophrenia and things of that nature.
Mm.
So there was mental illness and drugs and things of that nature involved.
Mm.
But dude, to do that, you sent your daughter letters. I ain't get one. I didn't get, not that I cared, because what could you say to me? It's nothing you could say to me. What you going, no, but you know what he said? The man said he told my cousin, his daughter, he didn't regret it. If he had the ability, he would do it again.
Wow.
At that point, I really wanted him. I would gladly, at that point in my life, I would gladly take him out. Gladly. But after a while, it took for me to have a breaking point in my life where I would have nightmares. I would have nightmares about witnessing my actual father's murder. And my uncle's face would be shrouded in shadow, and all you would see is these burning red eyes. And I would hide. I'm a little kid. I'm hiding under the living room table, and I'm watching this be done. And he even threatened his own father. His father was there. His father witnessed the murder. And he told my grandfather, if you don't get out the house, I'm going to kill you next. Then he murders my father. But for some odd reason, every time I had this dream, he would always know that I was in it. And I'm hiding under the table. And you know how you had those horror movies where the person's hiding and you think they get away, and then boom, the villain sees him right under the table?
Right.
That's literally what happened. Every time I see him come under the table, he would say, "You're next." I would wake up. Sometimes I wouldn't. Sometimes it'd be like complete sleep paralysis, to where as though like my mom would have to shake me to wake me up. So that played a huge role. Still does. Plays a huge role in my life. That is one of my fears. My dad was, I want to say, 36 when he died. Here I am, 33, with my son coming. And I got to tell him that. I got to tell him what his family did to his dad. And not only that, turning 18 hurt. Walking across the stage, graduating, hurt. Turning 30, hurt. Getting married, hurt. Now I'm about to have my own child. And when this man asks me about his grandfather, Yeah, I'm absolutely gonna share the happy moments, but I gotta share that one dark moment that I don't want to with him because I don't want him to think. I mean, man, you can't pick your family. You can't. Sometimes you gotta love your family at a distance. And I would say my mom did absolutely wonderful. Me and my sister lost our fathers. I have an older sister. She lost her father too. Not to circumstances as great as mine. She still lost her father.
Mm.
So to understand that I still had a mission in life, it took for me to almost take my own life. And my childhood best friend, Aubrey, he saved me. The same room when we first moved to Baltimore, we were living in the county, and we moved into the city. That same bedroom that I slept in and when we moved into the city was the same room I attempted to hang myself in. I'll never forget it. I was I was just I was broken. I didn't have the will. I was depressed. I was angry. But I didn't think about the people I would be hurting
Mm.
if I actually went through with this.
Right.
But none of that mattered. Because at the end of the day, I just wanted this pain, this deep bruising pain. I wanted it to subside. I wanted to get rid of it. Um, you know, the frame and the closets were pretty sturdy. So and the shelves they sat pretty high. So I literally took a belt and I also had like I had a rope as well. Literally took the rope and I literally tied it around one of the poles in the closet and tried to hang myself. I wanted it to be over. I just and I could feel the life um leaving. I could feel it. And my mom wasn't home. I had left the door unlocked. Aubrey came in, and all I could hear was B, 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 where are you? Runs in the closet. He sees me, gets me a loose. And he's like, listen, I can't, I'm mad at you, but we're going to get you through this. So me and I had like a very hard, like just from the gut, powerful cry. And we told my mom, and she was extremely upset. She was. And a year later, Aubrey was killed. He was shot. And I couldn't save him. So his death had a profound effect on me as well. And it's why my son's middle name is Aubrey. It's homage to my best friend. So that way, when I see my son, I see my best friend as well. And I see my son as a life I can save. Um, and I mean, you know, there were a lot of there were a lot of great, fantastic memories. Like I said, you know, dunking on the 10-foot court, watching my dad hit backflip.
Yeah.
Straight A student. You know, believe it or not, chat. When I was a little kid, I had to sing in front of the entire school. Um, I would I would be nervous, but my teacher would always walk me through it, and I would tear the stage up. And but it was just that one moment changed my entire life. And that goes to show everyone, no matter what is going on, you keep fighting. You do not give up that road. I know your feet get tired, your soul gets weary. Don't give up. You keep going, you keep fighting, you keep pushing forward. You keep people who are genuine and honest around you. Don't keep yes men. Keep genuine, honest people around you. They will be the ones that straighten you out when you're cutting up and you're doing things that are not conducive to where you need to be in life. Those are your friends. Those are the people that you keep close. You don't keep people that are just yes men and just they don't check you.
Right.
So so I say
Jimmy wants to know what song did you sing in front of your school?
I had to sing one song that I had to sing a lot. I had to sing it's a church hymn. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. It's called Leaning on the Everlasting Arms. And I had to sing that a whole lot. I had to sing that. I had to sing Lift Every Voice and Sing. Man, I had to sing a lot of golly. I sing a lot of songs, but those two are the two that I remember a whole lot. Lift Every Voice and Sing and Leaning on the Everlasting Arms. Yes.
Yeah, I grew up singing a lot myself. I saw my grandparents made me sing in the choir when I was a kid. So I was like, you ain't got no choice.
Yeah.
Say, okay. And that carried over, through our teenage years, of course, and then
Right.
the early 20s. And then that's when the career came about. And that pretty much was the end of that. That is one deep, deep story that I know that probably, I'm not going to say probably, I know it still bothers you to this day to lose your father. And I'm not trying to get everybody in the chat to break out the tissues and stuff like that, but there's a reason, like I said, I titled this stream Two Souls Alike because I don't think anybody here really understands. It's one thing to see it typed in text, but to hear it verbally come from me or to come from him, I feel a real genuine connection with this man. Like
Likewise.
there's just too many similarities.
Yeah.
And to kind of I've shared this with you. I don't even know if I've shared this with everybody else, but his story with losing his father sounds a lot like my story with losing my father as well. Now, before I get into that, I want to say that traumatic events have the capability of building character.
They do.
We talked about this a couple of days ago as far as testimonies. I don't believe in coincidences. I believe that all of us go through certain things.
Yes.
So that we can persevere and so that we can overcome and share those things with other people who may be who may be having similar battles. And you could say, yo, I went through this, or yo, I went through that. And the fact that you've shared this story before and you're sharing it here, you really got deep with it today. But I feel that it makes me feel good in the sense of here's somebody who lost their dad long before I lost my dad.